ladies, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do these brows. Now I'm sure it's hard to believe, but there are two different techniques, two different products used on these brows. I actually wear both of these brows in my makeup tutorials. I just transition between one or the other, and on both of my tutorials I get questions on doing a brow tutorial, so I figured I'd do both techniques in one video. Whatever works for you, see if you have whatever products, and yeah, I'm just gonna get real with y'all. Basically, I didn't feel like wearing makeup throughout the videos, excuse my face, but if you're interested, then stay tuned. For the brow that I use a lot, I did it in my last tutorial for my brows, but it wasn't very clear. So what I do is I take a gel pencil. Now it's gel because I want to move it around and it works well on the corners of my brows, and it's more sharp, and so it works like an adhesive and it lays the hairs down. So when I go over it with powder, I get my desired effect. Okay, so as for my brows, I do want to clarify something. I don't pluck my brows. If you could see, I really do have they're pretty messy, like on the corners and stuff, but I don't pluck them. That's just how they are, you see. So I do conceal it with concealer, but I don't remove the brows. And I get a lot of people saying, yeah, you do your brows and it's haram, sister, in my comments, but I actually don't. So, and I actually went to a Being Me conference and I showed women how they can conceal the hairs under their brows rather than remove them. So the first thing you're gonna need is by Essence, and it's a gel pencil. So when I put this on, I just put it on the corners of my brows. What that looks like. Now I'm gonna take a matte eyeshadow. This one is my favorite. I'm sure you've seen it, me use it in all my other tutorials, and it's lasted me such a long time. This is the Coffee Grind eyeshadow. It's from Mercier. So now when I do this look, you wanna make sure you're working with an angled brush, and when you're using an angled brush, there's two kinds. There's a synthetic one that you could use that is more shiny and it works well with liquids. And then there's a Brussels hair-like type of one that you could use that's for powders, that works really well with powders. I use this one for this technique because I'm using powder throughout most of my brow. And what I first do is I create a line. So I create a line from the base and I try to get it as perfect as possible. Create a line and kind of work it in. Now if you're not really steady with your hands, you could do smaller strokes. Hold your brush directly upright, you can get a more sharper application. Bring my brows together and I kind of make an angry face just so I can sharpen the ends. And when you relax your brows, you get a sharper end. Now I'm just going to take in one of these brushes. You can get these in small kits. You're just gonna work it through. I want to leave the ends because you've created that sharp look. You want to just keep it in the front. Perfect. Now what I do is, some people use concealers. I don't use concealers anymore. I feel like it's too harsh, so I use a foundation. So you want to work with a synthetic brush because you're working with the fluid. Just small strokes. Want to blend it out with your finger. Left over on the brush, I just drag it over my brow as well. And this is the before and this is the after. So this is the technique that I usually go for. So for the second technique, I use a gel. Now you can use the Anastasia pomade, but I'm just using Dipdown by MAC. It's kind of the same thing, it just dries faster, so you gotta be careful. And because it dries so quickly, I like wetting my brush, so I just take a little bit. And I go in, I take some. And because this is so strong, you need to buff it out, decrease the concentration. And what I do is I usually create a square on my hand and then work the product into the brush. Starting off with your brows, you want to know where your brow begins, where it ends, and where the arch is, if you have an arch or if you prefer an arch. What you do is you take your brush and you start with the corner of your nose. That's where your brow should usually begin, so right there. And then for your arch, if you want an arch, you lay your brush on the corner of your nose. Looking straight, you want to meet your pupil. And where the top of your brush hits, that's usually where your arch kind of hits. And then the corner of your brow where it should end, because I've seen ladies have brows ending till here, and I'm like, what's on your face? Take your brush, lay it on the corner of your nose, make sure it meets the corner of your eye and upwards, and that's usually where your brow should finish. So I'm going to hold the brush upright and I'm going to follow my natural brow. If you ever need more product, you could just go back to that square you've created. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is you're going to take that the same more rougher angled brush that we've used for this brow. Go in with a dark brown powder and just fill in and then you want to go in with the wand or this brush and just blend out the entire brow. As for cleaning up, you clean it up the same way. So this is the finished. I have the same two different brows on, but they look fairly similar. So I just did the rest of my makeup so you see the complete look, and this is brow number 1 and brow number 2. So I just wanted to put on some makeup for you guys so you guys see the complete look, and I had like crazy dark circles, so I'm sorry. Anyways, hope you like this video, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye!